All right, so what I'm going to talk about is what I call dynamic content management system. When I first got started with Alpha Anywhere, just uh, just under 10 years ago, I had a couple problems. One, I wanted to be able to more easily create a front end for the Alpha projects. I wanted to be able to create a front end that I could use in multiple circumstances. So, for example, I might have content that I might want to use on a WordPress website as well as an Alpha Anywhere app. And I also might want to have content that I want to use for marketing purposes, with Facebook or something like that, or a flyer or something. And I also might want to have multiple versions of content for marketing purposes on a site that I could use a query string to determine what shows to the customer. So, for marketing purposes, if I want to go run an ad, I'm going to give it a URL that when someone clicks on it, it goes to a URL. So if I have them go to two different pages of the same site, but it looks different, and different content is served up based on that query string, then I can tell how effective that landing page is or something like that. So that's kind of what this thing was wrong. Let's see. That's kind of what this purpose slide is about. I also wanted to be able to share content within Alpha from like a regular A5W page that's serving up just regular content, as well as a web component that might show on an A5W page. And I want to be able to share content between both, right? So between a regular page and in a component. And I want to share content, and maybe I want to have unique content based on the user or based on a login group or something like that. So in today's demonstration, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you two different sites that are basically on one. So one website, one Alpha project that serves up different content, and how we can use an external tool to create that content. And how that content is basically going to be automatically mobile friendly on a regular A5W page, so I don't really have to worry about how I do mobile within Alpha, at least on a regular page. And some of the things you can do, you can push content without having to republish the app. So if you want to modify different parts of the content to different, like let's say you wanted to update a header and a footer with content that is within a UX component on a panel card. You can do that. I'm going to show that as part of this. And you don't have to republish the app or anything, right? So again, A/B testing. If I want to rearrange content on a page, again, for maybe it's marketing purposes, maybe it's I want to change something out for the time of season or something. There's no need to republish the application in order to do that. The tools that you need the tools that I'm using typically to do this, Alpha Anywhere, of course. I use the Alpha Cloud as our development environment primarily. And then, of course, a lot of clients have their own stuff, but we use the Amazon RDS database. I think in this case, I think it's MariaDB, but we're using the what's called a nice page website editor. I'm using Notepad to actually go through some script. I'll show you that and the reason for that in a minute. And then, of course, the Chrome browser. Of course, you can use any browser and any dev tools within a browser that you want to use. So the first thing I'm going to show is this nice page. All right, so I developed this in the last couple days. Well, I already had it kind of started, but I developed this to show a demo. I had a previous version loaded already, and I'll show you that and the difference between the two. But the main thing here is that I can create HTML using a website builder that's designed specifically for that and is very, very easy to use. So now you could use any HTML tool that you wanted to use. It wouldn't matter as long as it creates HTML as an end. And in this case, when I try to publish this, I can pick what I want to publish it to. And in this case, I'm choosing HTML. Now, if I wanted to create a WordPress theme out of this, I could, but I'm not going to do that. So I would choose HTML and I would export to HTML, which I've already done. And what happens is it brings a it exports it to a folder, and I don't know if it's going to show. It's probably not showing the folder yet, right? It's still back on the. You guys are still seeing the dev tool. Hang on, once again I have to stop and reshare. Sorry about this, guys. I don't know why my computer likes to do it this way. So once I export it, you should be seeing a file folder, right?
Yes.
Okay. So this file folder is the exported project from that HTML developer. And you'll see that it's got pages in here, an index page, different pages. It's got some jQuery, some JavaScript files, and it's got some style sheet files, right? I did not want to do that. All right, so what I need, and it's got an image folder, right? So it's exported everything that I need to be able to import into Alpha Anywhere. The first thing that we do in the Alpha Anywhere environment is you'll see we have a assets folder. And in assets, I have CSS, images, and JavaScript. So what I do is I simply add these files, the separate images, CSS, and JavaScript files, and I add them to these folders, which you can see I've done, right? So I've got images for the two different, so I've got images that are contained in both different projects in this folder, and of course it'll use the images as it needs it. And then I've got JavaScript for the two different projects as well. Some of them are kind of shared, but because I exported it from the same tool, but with different versions. But so once I import that JavaScript, then what I need to do is I need to go tell this system that I developed the content is and how it's going to use the content that's put in the database, which is why we have a content management system, because it's database driven, and then also how it's going to use the files that we just input. So now from a script case, from an index page, actually before I show this, let me actually show the two. Deals. Should be, and then should be. All right, if you guys should be seeing a website that looks kind of similar to what I was building there. It says Alpha Core. Okay, so at the top you'll see this URL that I've published to, and this is one version that I published, and then this other page is the version on my local machine, and then this page here is a different version. Now it uses the same base URL because it's the same project, and it's using the same index page. The difference is I've added a query string saying page equals IADN test, right? So when I load this, the first thing it does is it says, is there no query string, and is there no variable called page? And if not, it automatically just loads index. You don't have to type in index or anything. If it says index with a query string, then it's going to say, okay, what is the page variable? And I want to load that page. Now, what's interesting is all of this has to call different header information, different body information, different content, different meta tags as well. I'll show that in a second. And so the way that we actually piece this stuff together, so when it outputs everything from the HTML builder, it's going to output, obviously, however it structures the HTML. You got a head section, right? We got a body tag. Then we have what it's labeling as a header. And then we have separate sections. Now, all these separate sections are going to be input individually so that we can either activate them or not. And we are going to assign these sections to a page so that it knows what to render on that page. So each section is a database and then there's a footer, right? So the header information, the head tag information, the header, the body tag, the footer, and the closing body tag can all have different elements that